a while. Welcome to the Scholar of Life. It's been a while. It's been a minute. I'm so glad to be in this space with one of my very close friends who I treasure, who I love. And we've had this friendship, this sisterhood for a very long time. And, it's very important the kind of friends that you have in your space. It's very important the people that you can trust. And I am so privileged to have a number of friends that I call sisters. And Alice, this gorgeous human being here, is one of those people that I treasure as a friend because she has been there when I was going through the most. She has been there when I was the happy that everybody knows. But we tend to, the thing that I've noticed about human beings is that, people want to be around you because of what you can give them, whether it's emotionally or whether it's, whatever, it's like a selfish need of why people are in each other's lives. And that's a testing ground for me because I'm such a no-nonsense person that I do not tolerate nonsense around me. And I'm so real about my space that people that I love and that are in my life, there's a few that has really seen another side of me because I tend to usually, people come to me for comfort. People come to me because I'm a happy, bubbly person. But they always say there's people that are very funny and happy. Most of them are actually, like if you look at the comedians as well, they go through some hardships behind closed doors in terms of mental health. And why I'm bringing this up in this space is that she got to see a side of me yesterday that is unexplainable to people, especially people that know me. A lot of people wouldn't understand that I can actually go to that very dark place just because of my previous lifestyle and where life has brought me from. But picking up my phone, because I could feel that I was at a very, very dark place. And usually I handle it myself, obviously with my faith and God. And this time the Holy Spirit just said to me, call Alice. And I was like, how am I going to call Alice? She's never seen this side of me. No one's seen this side of me. I usually handle it on my own, and not a lot of people understand that side of me. And she, just like God just came into, I was shocked at how she loved me during that hard time that I was going through mentally. And can you just explain to me, Alice, yesterday when you saw that other side of me, I was worried. I wasn't worried. I think it was a test of our friendship, the fact that you decided to be there for me despite what you witnessed yesterday. What made you be that person?
I think because I've also gone through a lot in the past few years, especially recently, and I've realized that a lot of people go through a lot of things, and because we're mothers or because we're expected to be a certain way in society, when you go outside, you're not supposed to have any tears, you're not supposed to be seen with your shoulders heavy, and yet you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and most people are going through the most. But it's almost as if we feel like we need to pretend that we're okay. And often that, it's our default answer. When people ask you, how are you doing? No, I'm fine. But in truth, are you really? Or is it just you saying I'm fine? And I think I've realized that most people are going through difficulties and going through things, and if you actually ask them, no, but really, how are you doing? You'd find that everybody's struggling with something, you know, everybody's going through something. So just be kind to whoever you come across, because despite how happy we may seem, despite how together we may seem to have it, most of us have some or the other underlying issue. Life is difficult to navigate no matter how old you get. And that's one thing I was telling Kiki yesterday when I spoke to her, that just because you're older or you're a parent now or whatever does not mean that we have all of our ducks in a row. It doesn't mean that we figured out everything. Life changes, people change, and we have to adapt every day. It's not, there's no set book, set course on how to navigate this life. So, and that's what I said. I was like, afford your mom a little bit of grace, because even she is navigating through life. Yeah.
Thank you. I love that. So what I picked up from that, you said, be kind. Just be kind. And kindness, you know, people take that word for granted. But kindness can, I mean, a lot of, because we used to gym together. And that's where our friendship started, was at the gym. Now, don't look at the dress and the earrings. We can be very masculine at the gym. So if you looked at the outer appearance, we would look like people that, what's the word? We are very intimidating, right? But when you get, I always talk about this word perception. Don't ever make your mind up about a human being or a person before you have met that person. A lot of people might say this about the individual, but until you have met that person, keep your judgments to yourself and be kind. I love that, Alice. Treat anyone with kindness, regardless, because even that person that betrays themselves as being hardcore, or maybe they are hardcore, but if you come to them or they're full of hate or anger, if you come to them with kindness, you never know that you might just really shift that person's heart to pursue light. Okay. Now, we spoke about all of that. I have two interesting questions that I want to ask you. And I specifically want to ask you, Alice, because I've seen you live this. And as women, you know, we are very, I speak for myself, you know, we are emotional creatures, you know. There's a lot of insecurities that we go through. And I've seen discipline in your life, and I'm all about discipline. I'm learning. Discipline is a key in my life, because you know, if I don't have discipline in my life, I can do damage to my life, because that's just my nature. So I need that discipline in my life, and I've always admired the discipline that you have. So I'm going to get to the word boredom. Boredom is such a word that people also take for granted. But when you are living in your space with so much that's happening in social media, so much that's happening in television that's enticing, you're a beautiful woman. You're an absolute beautiful woman. You're an intelligent woman. But there were times in your life where I feel, because of who you are, you could have chosen to invite certain things that might be harming you, but because I know a lot of women, we do this a lot. If we've gone through a breakup, if we've gone through just going through an emotional thing, we tend to maybe, you know, go to alcohol for feeling better, or go to the wrong friends, and then the wrong friends are going to encourage you to do things that is malice or that's damage to you. I've seen you go through a hardship in your life, and I've seen you remain in your lane and not be tempted by things of this world that can be damage to you but looks pleasurable. How do you discipline yourself to do that, Alice?
I think for me, at my core, I am just how I am. I'm very disciplined, and I like order. So whereas some people get excited by everyday changes, I like the mundane and routine, and that's how I've always been. So if I say I'm going to do something, I always keep that end goal in mind. So so for me, I've always known I'm going to be a good person, I'm going to be a good parent, I'm going to be a good mother, a good partner, and there is nothing that is going to shift my me from that, from wanting to be that person. So for me, it's always remembering that this is my goal, this is who I want to be, and anything that derails me from being the type of person that I want to be, I will not entertain. So I
even if it looks good.
No.
Where do you get the discipline from? Because a lot of people are weak in that area. I can be weak in that area. But then it took for me training, where you are just saying you're naturally like that. For you, it's like second nature.
No, okay. I don't think it is. Nobody just wakes up and is disciplined, or no one's built that way. For me, okay, because I grew up, I grew up with my dad. So, and my dad worked crazy shifts most of the time because he's just a single parent. And
can I just shout out, I'm not going to leave that alone. She grew up with her father, and she said her father was a single parent. Shout out, big shout out to all the men.
Yeah.
All the men, including my husband, that stood by their children, because look where this is going. Carry on.
So my dad basically lived his life to raise us and then to provide for us. And so for me, I didn't really have an example of what a mother is in the house, or I didn't have someone always saying, "Did you do your homework? Did you do this? You've got to." I didn't have that. My dad did, of course. He instilled that sort of thing. But you had to basically make sure that you get these things done even in his absence. So a lot of the time, and I do remember when I was younger, almost, and I still do it to this day, where I would mother myself, if that makes sense. So I'd be like, for example, last night when we went out, and then I got back in the house, and in my head I'm like, yes, you're tired or whatever, but tomorrow is church, so you need to prepare for church. You need to wash the dishes for tonight. And that's how I lived my life. I disciplined myself in my head. So so that's what I did growing up. I would mother myself in my head. When I wake up, I'd be like, Alice, you need to make your bed. You need to pack your bag.
Where do you think you got that instinct from? That motherly instinct?
I don't know.
It's like maybe because as a woman, or what? It's interesting.
No, I just, like I'm saying, I always knew that this is the kind, even when I was younger, I was like, I don't want to disappoint my dad. I love my dad. And I would always be like, I see how he's working, I see how he's hustling, and I just want to make him proud, And I know that if I finish my homework, if I cleaned up these sort of things, that he would be proud of me. And it was my way of being like, thank you for the sacrifices you make every day and what you're doing for me, and I want to be the best kind of daughter I can be. So that was for me, that was the end goal at the time. That's why I'm saying I always keep in mind the end goal, the type of person I want to be, the type of woman now I aspire to be. Then it was the type of child I aspire to be, the type of daughter I aspire to be. So I always kept that in mind. Yep.
Wow, so good. And I must also say kudos to your mom as well for stepping in, because I'm just going to talk about me personally, where, growing up, especially African women, they are brought up with a thick skin, I know now we tend to talk about, the emotional side, the hugging and the kissing. In reality, old school parents, that was not existent.
Yeah.
That was not there. And I've discovered that, and I've made peace with it, because for a long time I would be like, my mother, I thought in my head that, Mom, you just made sure that we had food and we were dressed up, but you were not really there for me. And then later, as I'm getting the wisdom, and I'm appreciating my mother more, because that's just how their love language is to us. And why I'm bringing up our mothers is because I've seen your mom in your older stage, like come through and then just also do her parts as a mom. And it's very important that people make peace with that and not compare upbringings, because cultures are different.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
Yes. So for me, as you know, it was a struggle for the longest time, because I just felt like I did not like the fact that my mom was not present, and it made growing up decidedly difficult. Not my dad tried his best, but obviously he's not a woman, and we were just two girls. So there are times that she's
a twin.
Yeah, I really just wanted my mom around, someone to share what I was going through at the time, or just to have my mom around for a bit of softness, because my dad was very much about rules and you following the rules and doing right, and that sort of thing. And he was a disciplinarian, very much so. So there were times that I just craved a softer parent,
Of course. Naturally so.
And so I think a part of me just resented her for not being there, and that was my truth for the longest time, until we were older. And then and especially when you are a parent and you are older, and then you realize that yes, you know what, life doesn't often happen the way that we had planned it to, but as a parent you want the best for your kids. And that just came with understanding and forgiving her, and understanding that she did what she had to do at the time.
Exactly. Exactly.
And what was more important to me is the fact that she's in my life now, and she's trying now. You understand? That she's being present now. And I'll never forget what she said to me once, is that she said, I was not there to love you growing up, so I am pouring that love into your kids. And that just really humbled me,
Yeah,
the fact that she's trying,
teary, yeah.
yes, that fact that she tried to make it up. And for me, it allowed me to let go of the fact that she wasn't there, because I see how she's loving on my kids, and she's doing the best that she can now, and that's how it is in life. You have to, it takes a lot for anyone to come back full circle and be able to say, I'm sorry, and I'm making up for it in your actions. And for me,
actions.
Yes, and for me, that's always been a big thing, because we all mess up and we hurt people and offend people, even when we don't, because we don't intend it, but it does happen. But it's a big thing. You know what? I'm sorry, and then I see what you are doing to concrete that apology. You understand? And like you're saying, our moms, even now, like my mom visited 2 or 3 weeks ago, and she broke a bowl. But she never says she's sorry. She won't. You know, black parents, they'll never know. Like it's not going to happen. She's like, oh. I'm like, it's my bowl. That's an expensive bowl, you know.
Yeah.
So they don't come back and say they're sorry. But
They made us strong.
yeah,
They made us
you know what
strong.
I'm saying. But then they will be like, you know how black parents, their way of apologizing is like, hey, what you want to eat? You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah.
They're never going to say, I'm
Yes.
sorry, but like,
Yes.
they're going to make you
Yes.
some
Yes.
food that you
And
like.
we need to understand that and
Right?
make peace with it. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how it is. So and it's also because I think she cannot fully articulate herself the way she would like to,
Yes.
you know, sometimes. And so I've come to understand that she does it. And my dad is very much like that. He's not black, but he's old school like that. My dad never. I think the first time he said, I love you, I was here in Joburg.
Wow. Deep.
Yeah,
Go
I was
there
here
with
in
that,
Joburg.
yeah.
And my dad, his version, this is my dad, like his version of saying I love you is, I'm proud of you. I'll never forget. That for me, I know I used to translate it into I love you, and I learned to understand that he finds it difficult to say. Mind you, he says it now that he's old, but I swear, when you're growing up, forget it. It's just not going to happen. You know, my dad would not be the type of person to like happy birthday. No. The first time my dad actually wished me, he wrote it. I'll never forget. He wrote with Handy Andy, you know, on the mirror. We have a big mirror in our bathroom, and it's like happy birthday. I can't remember how old I was, but I was like past 16. I know that, you know. So my dad's like that. So I've always learned to value actions because our parents, like you say, they're not going to say it a lot of the time. So my mom, I just see it in her trying in what she does. Even if she doesn't just say, you know, that she's sorry.
I was schooled so much with this. I'm like having all these good feelings because, you know, we tend to be so hard on our parents because we think. But if you look at it and you look at their upbringing and just who they are, and like you said, and, you know, where their actions are, for them to try and show that, look, this is my love language. Just give them a break. Like, give them a break. You know, we are so modernized with hugging and doing all these things. Like, my husband always teases me because when I go to my mom, we literally shake hands. We don't do hugs. And now and then I'd hug my mom, and it's like, you know, it's just weird. But just, man, you have just taught me and you have schooled me. Like, even with all the flaws that we all have, at the end of the day, kindness is everything. Actions is everything. Forgiveness. This is what I learned today from the school. Scholar of Life. I see actions. I see kindness. I see forgiveness. You know, discipline. Going for that light. So thank you, Alice. Thank you very much, girlfriend. High five. This is the Scholar of Life. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Take care. Peace and light.